What in the world are the Chicago Bulls thinking? Are we truly witnessing a front office that believes a player they refuse to pay is worth an unprotected first-round pick? Or is this just another masterclass in delusion from the Windy City? Folks, buckle up, because the latest whispers from the trade deadline have our heads spinning faster than a Zach LaVine fast break. We're talking about Coby White, the dynamic guard who, let's be honest, has shown flashes of brilliance and frustrating inconsistency in equal measure during his time here. Now, with the trade deadline looming large and White's contract expiring this offseason, the Bulls are reportedly ready to move him. And why? Because they have no intention of meeting his financial demands in free agency. Let that sink in for a moment. A player they deem too expensive to keep, they're now demanding a king's ransom for. It's a classic Bulls paradox, isn't it? The buzz is that the Minnesota Timberwolves are very interested in bringing White to the Twin Cities. And why wouldn't they be? They're a Western Conference powerhouse, a team that's been knocking on the door of the finals for 2 straight seasons, yet they consistently hit a wall when it comes to consistent point guard play. Anthony Edwards is a superstar, a force of nature. But even he needs a true floor general to alleviate pressure and orchestrate the offense, especially when he's catching a breather. But here's where the plot thickens, where the Bulls' strategy, or lack thereof, comes into sharp focus. Clutch Points is reporting that Chicago's asking price for Coby White is nothing less than an unprotected first-round pick. An unprotected first-rounder. For a player who will be an unrestricted free agent in a few months, a player the Bulls themselves aren't willing to invest in long-term. Is this shrewd negotiation? Or are we witnessing a front office completely out of touch with the current market and their own asset management? The fans are already divided. Some seeing this as a bold play for maximum return, others shaking their heads in disbelief, fearing another missed opportunity to truly rebuild. Let's break this down, because the implications for both the Bulls and the Timberwolves are massive. First, for Chicago. If they genuinely believe Coby White, a player with a career average of around 12 points and 3 assists, who has struggled with efficiency at times, commands an unprotected first-round pick, then their valuation system needs a serious recalibration. Historically, unprotected first-round picks are reserved for bona fide stars, players with multiple all-star selections, or young prospects with undeniable superstar potential on long-term deals. Think about what other teams have given up for unprotected picks. It's usually for a franchise-altering talent, not a solid, but ultimately role-playing, expiring contract. Consider the context. The Bulls are currently fighting for a play-in spot, a purgatorial state that satisfies no one. They're not a contender, and they're not fully rebuilding. Trading White for an unprotected pick could be a step towards a clearer future, but only if that pick is actually acquired. The danger here is overplaying their hand. If Minnesota balks at the price, and let's be honest, an unprotected pick from a team with Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns is still likely to be in the late 20s, but carries the inherent risk of injury or unforeseen collapse, then the Bulls could end up losing White for nothing in the offseason. We've seen this movie before, haven't we, Bulls fans? Remember the saga of certain other players walking away with no return? It's a painful memory that still stings. Now, let's flip the script to Minnesota. Why are they so keen on Coby White? It's simple: fit and need. The Timberwolves have been a dominant force in the regular season, making the Western Conference Finals in the last 2 seasons a truly impressive feat, but their Achilles heel has often been the lack of a true, dedicated point guard. While Anthony Edwards is a phenomenal scorer and playmaker, asking him to carry the entire offensive load, especially in crunch time or when he's off the floor, is unsustainable. Players like Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, and Bones Highland have tried to fill that void, but none are natural floor generals. White, with his ability to handle the ball, push the pace, and hit perimeter shots, offers a perfect middle ground. He can initiate offense, create for others, and most importantly, he's comfortable playing off-ball when Edwards takes over. This versatility is crucial for a team built around a superstar wing. Furthermore, his current contract makes him an easier acquisition than other high-salary point guards like Ja Morant or Trae Young, who would require Minnesota to gut their already strong depth. The salary matching would be relatively straightforward, preserving their core. However, the unprotected first-round pick is the sticking point. While Minnesota's future looks bright with Edwards, the NBA is a league of constant change. One major injury, a sudden dip in performance, or an unexpected roster shakeup could make that pick incredibly valuable down the line. Timberwolves management has to weigh this risk against the immediate gain of acquiring White. And then there's the second layer, paying White in the offseason. The Bulls are trading him because they won't pay him. Minnesota can only justify this trade if they are confident they can sign him to a long-term deal that fits their cap structure and future plans. This isn't just a rental, it's a potential long-term commitment. The pressure is on both sides to make the right call, and the stakes couldn't be higher. So, where does this leave us, Bulls fans? We're caught in a familiar limbo. On one hand, the idea of an unprotected first-round pick for Coby White, even from a contending team, is tantalizing. It represents a potential asset that could genuinely kickstart a much-needed rebuild or at least provide valuable draft capital for future moves. Imagine a scenario where that pick, even if it lands in the late 20s, could be packaged with other assets to move up in a future draft or used to acquire a young, cost-controlled talent. That's the optimistic view, the dream scenario where the Bulls finally make a shrewd, forward-thinking move. But then there's the cold, hard reality. The Bulls have a history of mismanaging assets, of holding on to players too long, or demanding unrealistic returns. If they stick to this unprotected first-round pick or nothing stance in Minnesota or any other interested team decides the price is too steep, then Coby White walks in free agency, and the Bulls get absolutely nothing in return. That would be a catastrophic failure of asset management, a repeat of past mistakes that have plagued this franchise for far too long. It would be a clear signal that the front office is prioritizing a perceived, inflated value over the practical reality of the trade market. For the Timberwolves, this is their moment of truth. Do they believe Coby White is the missing piece, the final puzzle piece that elevates them from Western Conference Finals contenders to actual NBA champions? Are they willing to bet an unprotected future asset on that belief and then commit significant long-term money to him? It's a high-stakes gamble, but one that could pay massive dividends if it works out. Ultimately, this trade saga is a microcosm of the Bulls' current identity crisis. Are they trying to win now, or are they finally committing to a rebuild? The Coby White situation will be a litmus test for the front office's true intentions and their ability to navigate a complex trade market. Will they be shrewd operators, or will they once again be left holding the bag? What do you think, Bulls Nation? Is an unprotected first-round pick a fair price for Coby White, given his impending free agency and the Bulls' reluctance to pay him? Or are the Bulls once again overvaluing their assets and risking losing him for nothing? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button if you're as frustrated or hopeful as we are, and don't forget to subscribe for all the latest unfiltered Bulls news and analysis. We'll be here, breaking it all down every step of the way.